Good morning, everybody. Vince Devall here with Eagle Homes, powered by eXp Realty. Bringing our Wednesday podcast to you. We have Brad Brewer on the other end here, and Adam Zeman. Say hi. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Today we're going to pick up a little bit. We're going to give a quick market update, what the market's doing from the real estate side and from the lending side. And then we're going to have just a little bit of a fun Q&A, and we're going to talk about different things that we enjoy with Wisconsin, places to visit, places to eat, hang out, so forth. So we wanted to mix it up, make it a little, get off the boring stuff. And at the very end, so make sure you stay through the end. We're going to add one tip that we believe is essential from the buying, selling, or lending side. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end so you can get that tip today. And then give us some feedback at the end of this too. Let us know what you'd like to hear about, talk about in the future. But quick market update. We're starting to see it shift. We've seen it start shifting since about July. June and July, sold prices started to go from just over asking price to just under list price per se. So and then July and August, we saw about a $7,000 difference between the average list price and the average sold plot price. Inventory is starting to go up. We're not at the inventory levels we'd like to see, but just to give you an idea, June to August, 2,100 homes were sold in the Kenosha, Racine, and Walworth County. Now, when I say homes sold, that's also anything that was listed. So vacant properties or vacant land, multifamily, condos, commercial, everything. And 2,884 newly listed. So that's good. The inventory is starting to go up. What we don't like to see is those numbers being too close together. But it's starting to turn a little more into a buyer's market. So make sure that, if you're the buyer, you're looking at getting your contingencies in, things like that. So from the lending side, Adam, let's touch on that a little bit.
Okay, so probably not what everybody wants to hear, but I do think the Fed is going to hike it another 75 basis points this month and probably 50 in November. What does that mean? That means that doesn't necessarily mean rates are going to go up, correspondingly, but that does mean that they are going to go up, and they have gone up in the last 2 weeks, I want to say. A good thing to look at if you go to Yahoo Finance and look at the 10-year Treasury note, that usually is a good indicator where rates are going. Now it's up, rates are up. There's other good financial news, and I'd like to remind everybody there's other parts of the world that have it a lot worse than we do. I think Europe is about 300 to 500% increase in their cost of utilities. So we could have it a lot worse. And China is almost in a full lockdown again. So perspective. And the last thing I kind of want to say is, how much interest do you pay? So Vince, how much interest do you pay on when you rent an apartment? How much interest is that?
Interest do I pay? If I'm renting, I don't pay any interest.
Yeah. You don't pay it. But basically that's 100% interest, right? Because nothing goes towards your principal.
That's true. That's true.
So is what's better, 6% interest or 100% interest? In my basic finance world, 6 is better than 100. So
good point.
Perspective. Keep that in your mind, people.
Yeah, that's a good point. And kind of just touch on that. We're doing our webinar tomorrow night for first-time home buyers. So I think that's, if there's any first-time home buyers watching this today, make sure you jump on our Facebook page. I've shared it a few times, but join our webinar on Thursday night at 7:00. So we'll talk a lot about first-time home buyers and lending and buying and being in that process. So good point. Thanks, Adam. I want to transition now. I want to talk about some of our favorite things. So I'm going to throw a topic out there and let's have open conversation on what our favorite places to entertain ourselves or our family or friends, things like that. So let's start with the very first one. Favorite restaurant, bar, grill, place you like to go eat, hang out. Brad, go.
I just get one today.
What's
I just
that?
Get one. I only get one
right now. You gotta throw one out there. Actually, you can pick 2, Brad. I know you like to eat.
I like to eat. Well, I guess 2. I'll take 2. From you said restaurant, bar, or grill. So I'll go bar and then I'll go the grill side. I guess my favorite bar is probably, I do like to go to like Low Daily in Burlington a lot. Runaways, another one I got to give a shout out. 2 local breweries in the Burlington area, awesome. And then we're also close by to Lake Geneva. Sorry, I'm going to take 3. Geneva Tap House, kind of a cool concept there, where they actually have a lot of the microbrews from different breweries across the state, including the 2 I just mentioned.
Yep.
And it's 50 self tappers, so you get to pour your own beer. It's kind of a cool concept, kind of fun. It's that's located in Lake Geneva. And then probably my most frequent restaurant in Burlington is Rustic Root. Great menu, a lot of different choices, and excellent bourbon and wine selection as well there.
Yeah. So Adam, go ahead. Give us a couple of yours.
All right, so yeah, it's real tough to just get a couple, but I think for food, probably a taco cart, honestly, is like my go-to, and food truck stuff has just become more popular, and the food tends to be better for whatever reason than a lot of restaurants. And then for hanging out, there's a couple places I go to up north that have good ambiance, outside bars. I love anything outside a bar, whether it be here in Wisconsin or Florida, anything with music. So not specific. There's one place up north that has, pretty good music, but those would be my 2.
Okay. Hey, for me, I'm going to go with being closer to the Lake Geneva area. Amy and I went to Lake City Social on Sunday night. I kind of forget about that place, but food and service there, out of this world. And then for the outdoor, I have to agree with you, Adam. I love the outdoor ambience. When winter comes, it's going to be a little tough to sit on someone's patio and throw bags. But Magpies in Lake Geneva, great outdoor wraparound bar area, a separate social area where you can sit by a propane fire pit, bags, and it's on like a little bit of that creek back area. Just cool outside area there. So those would be my 2 go-tos. Outdoor activities, Adam, you talk about how you love being outdoors. What's one of your favorite outdoor activities?
So I think anything in the water, I think is probably my go-to, is, boating, fishing, just hanging out with friends, skiing, wakeboarding, whatever that is on the water. I'm always drawn to that, whether it be in lakes here or even the ocean. So I think anything water, and then coming up here and basically starting now in fall, anything in the woods, walking around when the leaves are falling is pretty cool to me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna steal Brad's thunder a little bit. Outdoor activities. Gosh, it's gonna be golf. If we don't get 60 rounds in this spring to fall, it's gonna be a disappointment. I'm probably close. So if you ask my wife, I probably golf more than I'm at home. But then for something to do, my other one is, the wife and I were talking about it. We did it for an anniversary trip, and it was zip lining in Lake Geneva. I'm afraid of heights. I hate heights, but getting out there and do Lake Geneva zip lines, it was awesome. It was really cool. So I want to try that again this fall while the leaves are changing, and you can, zip line through the trees as the leaves are changing. So that's kind of one of my other go-tos right now. So Brad, how about you? Don't say golf.
Well, I'm going to get to golf and give a shout out to my lovely people at Hawksview that take good care of us. Sporting the Hawksview hat today, but that's ultimately my favorite one. But my wife and I really enjoy hanging with the family and going boating. We have a pontoon boat, and we do spend a lot of our spring, summer, and fall on the boat. So that's probably my other outdoor activity. Usually on beautiful Browns Lake in Burlington. So
almost time to close down the boats in the pool right now. It's kind of
yeah.
Sign of summer's coming to an end. It's kind of disappointing.
It's a bittersweet time of year for those type of activities for sure.
Yeah. Indoor activities. One of my indoor activities that is very unique to this area, and it's a good time, is Tristan's Chris Magic Theater in Lake Geneva. He built that new building 2 years ago now. I think it opened in the middle of COVID. Or towards the end of COVID, once things started opening back up. But man, what a cool experience to show that if it's a rainy night or you're looking for something to do, there's almost always tickets available. So check it out. On the weekends, they have 2 different shows. I think it's a 5 o'clock and a 7 o'clock show. And it's also family friendly, which maybe a little bit family friendly. Not probably not for our youngest, not yet, but definitely a family friendly place. So somewhere I would highly recommend checking out. What about Adam? What about you?
So I think probably right now is a little bit more into shooting. So that's a good go to a shooting range. I happen to have a couple new ones that came about and where I live or close to. So that's something I enjoy. It can be expensive, but it's always a good time.
Yeah. What do you shoot? Rifles, handguns?
I was always a rifle guy, but now I'm getting back into pistols and actually thinking about going back to your outdoor thing is like a trap shooting thing in like summer.
Yeah.
I just did that the other day and I had a great time. Yeah,
that's there's a place here in Burlington that does trap shooting. I have a lot of relatives on my wife's side that do it, and I haven't done it yet, but I think it'd be a blast. I did it when I was younger once, but I'd love to try it again. So
it's fun and it's competitive, and it's like if you like golf and being competitive, like you'll enjoy it. It's good fun.
Oh yeah, yep. So Brad, how about you?
I'm gonna go with, because I am a simpleton, indoor golf on the simulator.
I knew we'd get there.
We have some cool places around here. Some of the golf courses I know. Hawks, as I obviously mentioned, I golf in the summertime. That has a winter simulator. There's West Osha, down in one of our other courses just over the border in Illinois, Zion, Shepherd's Crook has one. More and more places are getting them, so it gives us golf fanatics that places to actually scratch our itch during the winter time. So sorry, I got to stay. I'm a simpleton. Otherwise, I didn't think watching football in the fall was that great of a activity. So
for some people that that's what fall's about is football season. So they don't get off their couches on Sundays. What about so Brad, what about date night? Obviously we got the self pleasure of golfing. What about getting the wife out of the house and having a date night?
We're pretty simple. We do consider ourselves a little bit of foodies, so we do enjoy trying different places for food. I mentioned Rustic, and there's some other places that we like. But something new we've been doing lately that I think is kind of has gone away with this world of streaming everything that you ever want. We've been starting to go to movies again at theaters. And we've got some really cool theaters in the area. Downtown Lake Geneva, Imagine in Lake Geneva, the Plaza in Burlington are a couple of our favorites for different reasons, and some little new technology with the reclining seats and stuff like that. But her and I just love to go relax for an evening, not have to think, and let something on the big screen entertain us with a big tub of buttery popcorn.
You know what I like about movie theaters nowadays is you can get a beer. I remember going to the movies 10 years ago, and if you were given a beer, it was a luxury at a movie theater. So now you can sit there, have a beer, watch a movie, sometimes even have them deliver the food and drinks to you at your seat. So that's a really cool feature.
Absolutely.
So movies. I went and saw Top Gun for the first time, probably about a month ago, but man, it was the first time I was in a movie theater probably in 5-6 years. And it's a really cool experience.
Absolutely.
So, Adam, what about you? Date night?
So I'm more recently in the dating sphere here, not married. And so when I go on dates, try to be creative, like axe throwing or, walking, hiking, or, a cool restaurant, something outside. Tend not to go to movie theaters because it's not really for someone you're not, dating. That's not a good place to talk to people. But to your point, Brett, Vince, I actually just went to go see Top Gun, like a month or two ago. And that was also the first time I've been in a theater for like 7 years or 8 years, but it was cool. So, for me, being in the dating world, you just kind of read what goes, but I try to do something interesting. The axe throwing is always fun because you're out and about and, it's cool.
It's competitive. I take it you're a very competitive guy. How often do you let your dates win, Adam? Come on.
That's a great question. Axe throwing, I wouldn't say I'm great at it, but usually, not not to pigeonhole it, but I think most girls aren't great at it. So, yeah, usually just win by default. But
Yeah.
I would love to get beat. I would. I think it would be great. We might be a good match if I get beat,
That's true. There you go. There you go. Maybe we should do our podcast one day from an axe throwing place.
But he's got to take him to the classy places because I heard the guy use the word ambiance earlier in this podcast. I mean, anybody that uses that fancy of a word has to take his dates to classy places.
Axe throwing is classy.
It is. It's a good time.
It's the new classy.
And it just depends. Like if she doesn't like you, she can axe-nay you.
That's right.
So Brad, I'm going to go a spin-off of your indoor activities, but a date night thing. For those that don't know, Lux Golf Base just opened up up by Franklin by the Rock facility, the Rock complex. It's very similar to a Top Golf type place. So you don't need to be good at it. You can chip and hit some balls. If they land in a net, you get points. So and you rent a bay when they'll bring food and drinks out to your bay. Usually rent it for an hour to 2 hours at a time, but it's kind of a cool, to your point, Adam, you can socialize, be competitive, have a little bit of fun at it. You don't have to be good at it, right? So the Lux Golf Bays, just opened up probably about a month ago now. So that's going to be one of my go-tos. And then my second one is during this time of year, it's really about getting outside. To Adam's point earlier, like if we can do something that is outside and active, then I'm all about it. Maybe going even for a simple walk, around Lake Geneva, or taking the kids to, a park, not really a date night, but getting out of the house is really, it's huge for us. When you got two little ones, date night sometimes is with kids.
I remember that.
So family friendly things to do. I think we've touched on a lot of them.
Yeah.
One of the things that for us that we do every once in a while, and just it's going to depend on the kids sometimes, is the farmers markets. Like we love going to a farmers market. Just recently went to the one in Kenosha. They're typically open right before Memorial Day and go till about October. But it's a really cool experience to see all the vendors out there, fresh produce. A lot of times there's, butchers out there that are selling their meat. And we're starting to see at those farmer markets, to Adam's point, a lot more food trucks or, little vendors that, want to get their name out there. And so it's a great opportunity to try different foods, different vendors. What I need for my farmers markets now are to start selling, Bloody Marys and mimosas as you walk in, right? We bought some great Bloody Mary mix, but no one sold the vodka to go with it. So some Bloody Marys would have been really, really cool to make that walk just a little more enjoyable. The kids got a popsicle. I didn't get, whatever. So Brad, how about you? Family friendly things. I know you're an empty nester, or kind of an empty nester.
Well, it's funny how the family fun stuff or the family activities change. During the kids' age, we used to do a lot of the stuff like going to the zoo, and my daughter was your kid's age, but now it's just different things. A lot of times it's simple as, here's some old school stuff. Like we love getting together with my family, especially when we're down in Indiana visiting my family. Like my family's favorite pastimes is getting a big game of dominoes going. And it's like that is like a constant when we're visiting my family, and we do it sometimes just. It's not as fun with the three of us, but some stupid little board game, because my wife and daughter and I all have different activities. I'm the golf nut, my wife's more of the artist decorator. My child's a gamer. So be able to, get a little old school, some of the board games and stuff. It's kind of fun. So that's kind of stuff that we do as a family now.
Yeah. So Adam, into the dating world, what about family friendly things?
So I feel like I'm always with my family, so I don't know. It's just you're just always doing. I mean, I don't have any kids, but like always with my family.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like we're always just hanging out, grilling. We have I have some family farms up north, so we'll just stop in there when I have the little kids, and go look at the animals or whatever and go hiking and just really just hang out, boating to what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's never like a plan. You just kind of end up just hanging out,
Well, and I think that's the huge part too, right? Like when you talk about family friendly things to do, it's sometimes just getting together with people that make it enjoyable, right? Like just catching up, especially like I don't see my brothers and sister that often, that if we're getting together, it's, we're sitting around having a drink and BSing.
Right.
There's only so much you can cover through social media and a text message or a phone call, but you get together and be like, oh, what about this? And it leads to a totally different conversation. So yeah, so sometimes just getting together is a great way to spend time with family. So the last one we're going to cover before we go into, our one tip of the day is vacation spots. Brad, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I'm going to go two. Anything that involves a beach normally, but specifically, and we haven't done this in a few years because of COVID, and it's just with some of the restrictions. I'm really hoping that it loosens in the next year or so, but we love going on cruises. Just as ports, and my favorite spot I'll tell you is the Cozumel Island stop for a Carnival cruise. You get off, and I'm blanking on the bar and grill that you go to. It's right on the beach. They have tables out on the beach. You sit there, and they got this hammock, enjoy a cocktail, and just sit. I like to sit there in that hammock for like an hour, just sipping on some fruity drink, and then just enjoying the breeze. I love that. And then the other one is, I love my annual boys golf trips. Can't get any better than that, because it brings in obviously one of my other passions. So there's two for me.
Adam, what about you? Vacation spots.
All right, I think I have three. So I spend, pre-COVID, probably like 2 or 3 times a year. I go down to Florida, Cocoa Beach, Florida. That has kind of more of a surfer vibe to it, and it's by the port. To Brad's point, there's like where a lot of ships come in. Cruise ships. Yep. So, and I love the ocean, love the smell, love the sound. It's just a total vibe for me. Second would be probably my lake house. I don't really consider that vacation. I go there a lot. It's just kind of normal. And thirdly, I think anything way up north where I don't really go there very often. We have some super beautiful places in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota and UP. Those are always cool places to go to, and in summer and fall, and just to kind of be around. So those are my three. And I think right now I'd like to get back into traveling. I stopped because of COVID. I want to go more, exotic places. So that's kind of on my bucket list right now.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, I think number one is every year, once, twice a year, we go up to Eagle River, Lake Tomahawk area up north to Adams Point, man, and it's gorgeous up there. And both my family and my in-laws have places up there, and so every time I go up there and visit, I'm looking at real estate property. I'm looking at, okay, hey, where's the next place I can buy on water that I can turn into a short-term rental? Because it's such a getaway up there. Like you're disconnected from everything. I did this podcast from up there a few weeks ago, but still, it's you sit on a porch, listen to the wildlife go by, watching deer run through the yard. Just a great experience. And then my second vacation spot is usually once a year. The wife and I find somewhere different to go. This year we're headed down to Nashville on a couples trip. So it's wherever we can go and check out new places. Stay in we typically like to stay in a VRBO or an Airbnb, just because it's a different experience, right? It's going to be so much different than your typical Holiday Inn or typical hotel. So this year we're doing a trip down to Nashville, looking for that. That's where we got engaged 10 years ago or so. And then we're looking at doing a trip to Orlando with the kids. So that taking a 7 and a 4-year-old to Disney for the first time could be enough to pull my hair out. What's left of it, as you can see, it's already thinning for those that want to make wise cracks. So let's get into, getting towards the end of this podcast. Let's talk about one tip that you would give to buyer, seller, whatever it might be. Adam, I'll let you go first from the lending side. What's one tip you're going to give someone if they're thinking about buying, obviously from the lending side, buying their, a home?
So I think the biggest tip is, no matter what your scenario or situation is, talk to me, talk to a lender. I mean, even if it's 6 months or a year out, let's run some numbers. Let's run a pre-approval. As I mentioned in some other podcasts, doesn't cost money with me. And what that does is let's figure out where your credit is and maybe a good game plan if we need to make improvements. Talk about like down payment, talk about what your job history is. It's better to have that conversation, do a little work. It's my work that I'm going to do. Basically, you're just doing an online application and having a 20-minute conversation with me. But if you're thinking about buying next year, start it now. And if you're thinking about buying in 3 months, definitely start it now. But I think that's the biggest tip is just start that process sooner than later in case we have to make adjustments on whatever it might be. Because you don't know. Some people just don't remember some things that came up in their past, or they think their credit score is different, or they don't know that they need job history for certain types of programs or whatever. Like that's my job. So I just think starting that process sooner and getting over the anxieties of like people have a lot of anxiety about pulling their credit for whatever reason. Just do it. Like get over it. Let's do it. We'll figure it out, and we'll get you to a position to purchase if that's what it takes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and nothing's worse than if you're starting to think about buying, and all of a sudden you talk to a lender and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't realize that I had $100 debt on there from, not paying my cell phone bill when I was in college, right? Like, you don't want to be surprised by those things when you're going through this process. So good point. Brad.
Or hold on, or finding your dream house and figuring out that you cannot purchase it. I mean, I would be crushed if that happened to me. So
right. Yeah, get that process out of the way. No, I agree with you 100%. Brad, what's your one tip for the day?
My one tip for today is actually going to be the after the sale. As much as we try to keep in touch with clients through the years, things happen, and I have this conversation every time at closing. If you have a question about, maybe it's just the market, maybe you need a painter, a plumber, an electrician, so an addition bill. We have a lot of connections and resources for different people. So we really pride ourselves in being your go-to for questions, needs after the sale. So don't ever hesitate. My biggest thing I want to tell people is never hesitate. If it's anything about your home, we want to be that phone call. We want to be the one to say, hey, we're thinking about doing this, or hey, I'm just curious. Geez, how much has the market gone up in the last year? So I really encourage clients to really give us a call. And we're not getting paid for that. That's just something we enjoy, staying in touch. One of my greatest things is I love hearing when people buy a home and just things that they've done, or things that how much they're enjoying it, whatever it is, even the bad stuff. Sometimes they don't like, we really don't like this and this. Okay, well then I guess we'll buy a new one sooner. But I just really enjoy all that stuff. So I always want to encourage people, give us, call us on anything real estate related.
Yeah, no, it's that makes our jobs a little more exciting when they call us after the fact. They're like, hey, I'm thinking about remodeling. Do you have a contractor? I have a couple. Here you go. Right. So Adam covered the buying, Brad covered the post-purchase. I'm going to talk about a couple things with selling. Think about selling your house, make repairs, finish projects. Nothing's worse when you list your house and a potential buyer walks in and sees, floor trim not completed. Well, then they start thinking there was an issue. Was there a leak that wall got wet, the floor trim never got back on, or they walk in and they see an outlet cover missing. Is there an electrical issue? Maybe you were just changing your outlet covers from this, opaque white to stainless steel, and you just ran out and didn't have another one. And, every time you go to the hardware store, you forget. So make repairs, finish projects. You don't want buyers to come in and assume something's wrong with your home just because I don't want to call it laziness, but it is. We all do it. We all find time. We're like, I'll get back to, patching that hole and sanding and painting it later. It's kind of in the corner in a room we don't use. No, take care of it. Get that done. You know, and when you go to list your home with us, that's one of the things we'll walk through. We'll say, we'll be that buyer eye and be like, hey, Brad, I don't know if you remember, but that trim's not painted and finished up there. You may want to get that trim finished and painted so it looks clean and, you know, doesn't give buyers another ammunition to say, I'm going to give you $1,000 less, right? So finish those projects, make those repairs. So we're up to our 30 minutes today, guys. Great conversation, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. So thanks again for today's topics. Once again, I'm Vince Devall with Eagle Homes, powered by EXP. Brad Brewer and Adam Zeman with NRL Mortgage, right?
Yeah, I just say AZ Mortgage Team, but yeah, sure,
AZ
whatever.
Mortgage Team. There we go. So follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Brad's going to add our contact information below. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you.